A heavy rain falls over the streets of modern Seoul, washing away the sounds of students rushing toward their examination halls. Among them is Jang Danbai, a high school senior suffocated by pressure. Her life has been narrowed down to one day, one test, and one chance at proving herself. But the weight of expectation sits too heavily on her shoulders. She drags herself into the hall, stares at the paper before her, and feels the words dissolve into meaningless symbols. Her mind locks, her hand trembles, and she realizes she cannot do it. As panic rises, she runs, past her classmates, past the examiners, past the world that demands more of her than she believes she can give. Outside, the sky darkens, rain pouring down like judgment. She stumbles, crying, whispering that she wishes she could be anywhere else but here. Her desperate wish finds an answer in the strangest of ways. As she takes shelter near a puddle, her feet slip, and instead of striking the ground, she falls through. The water swallows her whole, dragging her downward in a blur of sound and sensation, until she awakens in a place that feels like another world. Mud beneath her palms, the scent of pine and soil in the air, and voices, stern, commanding, speaking in tones she does not understand at first. Around her stand men in robes, soldiers in armor, and the unmistakable sight of a palace not of her own time. Confusion overwhelms her. Somehow, impossibly, she has fallen into the Joseon dynasty. In the royal court, King Lee Do wrestles with his own despair. Barely more than a young man, he carries the responsibility of an entire kingdom on his shoulders. A terrible drought has struck the land, crops wither in the fields, and his officials grow restless. Their murmurs of dissatisfaction sting, their doubts about his capability cut deep. He wants to lead, to rule wisely, but the task feels insurmountable. Behind the mask of dignity, he is tormented by fear that he is not enough. At the very moment he searches for answers, fate delivers Danbai into his path. Mistaken for a eunuch because of her short hair and strange attire, Danbai is hauled before the court. Her speech is odd, her movements clumsy, and her demeanor utterly unlike the decorum of the time. While others see a fool or an intruder, the king senses something unusual. She speaks of things they do not know, numbers, ideas, fragments of science she had once considered trivial. Though she claims no mastery of knowledge, the scraps she carries from her modern education astonish him. To her, they are half-remembered facts. To him, they are revelations. Thus begins a strange companionship. Danbai, a runaway from her own reality, becomes an accidental advisor to a monarch. She shows him how to measure rainwater, how to think differently about farming, how to find patterns in numbers. Her suggestions, small though they are, offer him comfort and open his mind. She, in turn, begins to see herself in a new light. Where once she felt worthless, in this world her presence matters. The king listens. He values her words. In his eyes, she is not a failure, but someone capable of insight. Their bond deepens as they spend more time together. In the quiet of the palace chambers, Lee Do asks questions about the world as she knows it, and Danbai answers as best she can without revealing the impossible truth of her origins. When he despairs, she consoles him, speaking with honesty and warmth. When she falters, he reminds her of her worth. Slowly, admiration grows into affection, though neither dares to name it at first. The air between them thickens with the tension of unspoken feelings, fragile yet undeniable. But the palace is not a place where hearts are free. Whispers of dissent ripple among the officials, who view the king's strange new confidant with suspicion. They question her origins, mock her peculiar manner, and resent the influence she seems to wield. Danbai herself feels the pull of guilt. She knows she does not belong in this era, that she is living on borrowed time. Each day that passes is both a gift and a reminder that she will one day have to leave. The thought of parting weighs heavily on her heart, even as her attachment to the king grows. The crisis of the drought sharpens. The people suffer, the kingdom teeters, and the king faces pressure to perform rituals that promise rain. Danbai, desperate to help, proposes ideas rooted in simple science, demonstrations of water, steam, and condensation. To the scholars of Joseon, it is both baffling and extraordinary. Though they doubt her, Lee Do chooses to trust her. Together they attempt to inspire hope, not through empty rituals, but through effort and ingenuity. And when the long-awaited rain finally arrives, the relief across the land feels like salvation. The king's confidence surges, and Danbai watches with pride as he begins to stand taller, to believe in his own strength. Amid triumph, love blooms. No longer able to deny what she feels, Danbai allows herself to draw closer to him. Their moments together are tender, shared glances, words left unfinished, silences that say more than speech. Yet the joy is tinged with sorrow, for both know that their world is not the same. He is a king bound to his dynasty, and she is a girl from a future he cannot fathom. Time itself conspires against them, tugging at the fragile thread that holds her in Joseon. Inevitably, the pull becomes stronger. The same mysterious force that brought her to the past begins to call her back. She feels it in moments of disorientation, in the shifting of the world around her. The farewell approaches, no matter how much they resist it. When the moment finally arrives, it is as heart-wrenching as she feared. Li Du begs her to stay, his voice breaking with desperation, but she cannot fight the current of time. Tears in her eyes, she promises him that he will be remembered, that he is greater than he believes. With that, she vanishes, swallowed by the same unseen power that had first delivered her to him. Back in the present, Danbai awakens in the rain-soaked streets she had fled. The world looks unchanged, yet she is no longer the same. The girl who once doubted herself now carries within her the memory of having shaped the confidence of a king. She remembers his face, his voice, and the lessons she learned not only about history but about herself. Though their love was fleeting, it gave her the courage to face her own life anew. She walks forward with a steadier step, ready to face the challenges she once ran from. The extraordinary journey has ended, but its imprint on her heart endures, leaving her forever changed. Time passes, yet Danbai's memories of the palace remain as vivid as the day she left. In the present, she resumes her ordinary life, but everything feels altered. When she picks up a book, she remembers explaining numbers to the king. When rain falls, she remembers standing at his side, offering hope in a time of drought. What once filled her with dread, the weight of exams, the expectations of adulthood, no longer holds the same terror. She has seen what true responsibility looks like, how a young ruler shouldered the fate of thousands, and it gives her perspective. Her own struggles, though real, now feel conquerable. Still, the ache of longing lingers. Some nights, as she studies at her desk, she finds her eyes welling with tears at the thought of Li Du's face. She wonders how history will remember him, whether he continued to lead with the confidence he gained during their time together. She knows she cannot confirm it, but in her heart, she clings to the certainty that she touched his path, even if only for a brief moment. In the quiet solitude of her room, she whispers his name, aware that no one in her time would understand. For the king, the loss of Danbai is equally profound. In the halls of Joseon, he returns to his duties, now standing taller, carrying the memory of the strange eunuch who spoke of worlds beyond comprehension. Her sudden disappearance leaves a void, one he does not show to his officials, but which lives deep within him. At times, he walks through the palace garden where they once shared their quiet conversations. He hears echoes of her laughter, remembers her odd words, the peculiar gestures that had made no sense to him, yet filled his heart with warmth. Though she is gone, she has become a silent companion to his reign, a reminder of courage in moments of doubt. History will record Li Du as a wise and formidable ruler, one who contributed greatly to the advancement of his people. Yet behind the written records lies a hidden truth, that a girl from another time played a part in kindling his belief in himself. This part of the story belongs only to him and to her, a memory locked beyond the reach of others. Danbai moves forward, her studies no longer a burden she wishes to escape, but a challenge she accepts with resilience. She still struggles at times, but she no longer equates difficulty with failure. She understands that knowledge is more than perfect scores. It is the ability to apply, to connect, to inspire. She remembers how the simplest fact about evaporation had seemed miraculous in the eyes of the past, and it strengthens her resolve. What she once dismissed in herself as trivial now feels like potential. With each passing day, she learns to carry the lessons of Josian within her, applying them to her modern world in quiet but meaningful ways. The connection between the two worlds is severed, yet in their hearts, it continues to exist. Danbai lives with the bittersweet knowledge that her journey was temporary, while Li Du reigns with the strength of someone who once looked into the eyes of another and found unwavering belief. Their story is not one of a conventional romance, sealed by permanence, but of a fleeting bond that transformed them both. They met across centuries, touched each other's lives, and then parted, forever carrying the echo of what they once shared. And so, the tale of Splash Splash Love closes not with triumph or reunion, but with a quiet truth that sometimes the briefest encounters leave the deepest marks. That courage can be awakened in unexpected places, and love, even if short-lived, can change the course of a life. Zhang Danbai, the girl who once ran from herself, walks forward no longer afraid. King Li Du, the ruler who doubted his worth, steps into history with newfound confidence. Though separated by time, they remain connected by memory, by gratitude, and by the silent acknowledgement that for a short while, in the rain-soaked threads of fate, their paths had crossed.